here to look through this week's expiring domain names. These are domain names that the old owner is letting go of, and we are here to come in and, well, buy those domain names and seize them and build something amazing on them to develop a business, to develop a lifestyle, to develop whatever it is that you see in the future for yourself. So these domain names are only available this week. So I always say the best way to view Domain to Profit is live. Join the community, join those who are in the YouTube chat right now saying hi, letting us know they're there. And yeah, there you go. So make sure you're watching live if you get a chance to. I get it that not everyone can. In that case, just know you are seeing data after others, which sometimes can burn you. Some of these times, domains will be done with the auction by the end of the show. I don't know about today. We'll find out together. I've not really spent a lot of time looking through today's domains. I'm just very hopeful that we have great ones. And some weeks we have home runs, other weeks, not so much. Find out. So with that said, if you're watching on Restream, leave us a comment. Let us know that you are here with us. Otherwise, make sure you say hi in the chat. Let us know you're here. And we are going to get started with Domain to Profit. See you after this.
From domain to profit, from a .com to a business idea. Take a domain name, develop an income from domain to profit. We'll show you how. Domain to profit, from domain to profit. Join Drew Walsh and get started right now.
All righty. We have our comment in today was Evan letting us know that he's over in Southern California where they got the floods and so on. Every time I go to San Diego, it rains. I don't know if that's how far south you are or not, but everybody's always, we're in the middle of a drought. And I'm like, it always rains when I'm here. And, well, it always rains when I'm there. Just if they need to get rid of the drought, just have me there more often. I think next time I'll be there is March. But Kevin, nice to have you with us. Fred, nice to have you as well. He's talking about balancing out this Cincinnati cold because it's cold outside. It's cold. I turned up the heat in the room I'm in a couple degrees when I got here because I'm like, this stuff's cold. Nice to have you with us, Fred. Thanks for joining. Jeffrey, nice to have you as well. Yahoo, it's Monday with Drew. I love Mondays as well. So thanks for having such a positive attitude there, Jeffrey. Always love having you here. Same with you, Coaster G and Matt. Good vibes indeed, although I know that's a emoji. I just can't see it on my side. Islander, Yahoo, yeah. There you go. If you owned some stock in that, it would have went up and down, and now you'd be like, hey, Drew, we need some domain names instead of Yahoo stock. Yo-Yo Peeps, monthly investor. Wow, we got lots of people popping in here. I love this. Thank you all for coming in and then sharing out with comments and joining the community here. Finally, yes, the Brave. Love it. They joined us live. I'm glad you finally made it. There you go. You can watch on Restream all the time, but joining us live as the Brave is showing is hopefully the better way to do it. So, and another good domain week, hopefully. I agree completely. And then a question from DeFi Instructor. Are you buying on GoDaddy or anywhere? Well, good question. And that's going to bring us into this, what it is that we're going to do. We are going to start by looking through GoDaddy expiring auctions. And to do that, we go and use this site here, which is expireddomains.net. Expireddomains.net, free domain name, a free tool that you can use to join us in our search. So head on over there if you have not already. And then once you get there, if you're first time joining us, you'll want to set up a free account because only with the free account can you set up filters. And if you want to make it look all dark background like I use, you would need that as well. I will take us through the filters and show us the filters we use to go through expireddomains.net to find the domain names we show on the show. There's hundreds of thousands of domain names expiring out there, and we only are going to look at a few hundred of them. So we want to make sure that we get it down to the best few hundred. Otherwise, we're going to end up just looking at a bunch of garbage, and that would be a really boring hour of live streaming. So when you're on expireddomains.net, you will go to this middle tab right there, and then marketplace domains. And then as DeFi instructor is asking, yes, GoDaddy is where we're heading. You will drop that down, and then you will go to GoDaddy expired domains right there. The other ones are other lists that you can look through, but expiring domain names are the domain name auctions that will end this week. Like, this is your one opportunity. So you can look through all the other ones as well, but make sure the expired domains is on your routine weekly list. So we're going to click on that and pull on over. So now this is pulling up all of the domain names. You'll see right up here, 3,900 or 3,800, 3,081,000 domain names are going to be expiring. This is not a filtered list though. So we do need to filter this list down to give us a best chance at looking at the domain names that we want to develop. And that's the key here, is we are looking for domain names that are the perfect domain name. I say the domain names that are color by number. We have a canvas, and there's already a picture on it in little numbers, and all we have to do is color by number. We just have to take the steps, take the action. Those actions are rewarded by revenue or access to an industry or authority in an industry. You get all kinds of benefits by having the right domain name. We are here to help you find that right domain name. So most of these domain names are going to be not very good, but you will find there's a lot of them out there. In fact, before we even filter, I see ENFT. I'm an ENTJ. I know enough Myers-Briggs to know ENFT is a Myers-Briggs. That will disappear once we set up our filters, though. So just keep that in mind. Once we add filters, domains that could be still good are going to disappear. So it's up to you on how much time you want to spend on domain name research. Entrepreneur names, see you popping into the chat as well. Thank you for coming in and saying hi. So now we're going to set up our filters that we use to look through the expiring domain names. Yes, hundreds of thousands of expiring domain names are coming up this week. We want to whittle it down to just the best opportunity, so that way the time that we have here together, we can look at the best domain names, not necessarily the domain names that are like a lot of them are garbage. How many domain names have you registered in your life? Chances are a lot. And how many of them were worth anything? Chances are not many. And the same happens to everybody else around the world. We don't necessarily register the best domain names. And the result is they're here one year, gone the next. So we have to look through all the weeds that are these domains that are expiring for good reason to find the gems. So we will get rid of numbers. We're not going to want numbers. We don't want hyphens. Do they have a place? Sometimes, maybe. But in the case of this, we know that 99.9999999% of the time, we don't want numbers or hyphens. Then next, we will come over to this here. This is the dictionary word. We want to look at English, 1 to 3 words of English words. So what this is going to do is expireddomains.net allows us to filter out and only look at domain names that have 1 to 3 English words. If you speak a different language or have a different primary language, feel free to play with this and include other languages as well. For the sake of what we do here, English is a primary language. 1, 2, 3 words are what we look at. And if you are also wondering, what about 4 words? We don't do it. Once you include a 4th word, the quantity of domains that will fake you out, they will make you think they're a good domain name as we go through our tests, as we look at keyword traffic and so on. 4 words will trick you into thinking it's a better domain name than what it is. So just save yourself the hassle, save yourself the mental anguish of whether or not you should get this domain name. If it's 4 words, chances are you shouldn't. So let's just get rid of that. We're going to go 1 to 3 words. And then finally, to keep it focused on this week's domain names, we come over to this far column and we say we want it to end in the next 8 days. So that right back over here, we want domain names that end within 8 days. So that way what we will see is in the list as we filter this, we're only going to see domain names that expire over the next week. So between now and the end of next week's show. Then up at the top, we're going to click on the tab for additional. And then once we do that, it is going to pull up the last filter that we want to do, which are the original generic top-level domains over here. We want to click on .com. For the sake of domain to profit, we only look at .com. You're welcome to go out to Twitter and make arguments for other extensions and things, but at the end of the day, at the end of years of grueling effort on a .net, .org, .info, .xyz, whatever domain name extension you might use to build your business on, you will always want to be the .com. And for that reason, we skip all that anguish and go right to the .com and only look at those domain names. So those are the filters that we set up for domain to profit. The final step is to click apply and to pull up our list. So now we've taken it from over 300,000 domain names down to under 100,000. 93,000 domain names are what we have today that we're going to be looking through over on GoDaddy expiring auctions. So shall we dive in? Let me check with the chat there. I see lots of pupping coming in and saying hi. DeFi what's your average flip time? That is a DeFi instructor here. Just so you know, like that's probably a bad question for me. Some people buy domain names for the sake of reselling them. I'm not that guy though. I buy to develop. The domain names that I typically will put my money on are actually, thank you, Matt. Matt's out there letting them know as well. We buy for development, not for reselling. I will tell you though, when a domain name is a good investment, sometimes I will share that information, or I will even put on my own investor hat and say, hey, this is a good domain name to possibly buy for low and to sell for high. So here we are. The final step in setting up our domain names is this valuation tool, or the valuation column that you'll see back over there. We want to click on that to order by valuation. Now, once you do that, you are seeing exactly what we are showing here on Domain to Profit. You're seeing the exact same data. We can follow along all together. So now, as I say each week, when you click on that, it's bringing the GoDaddy valued domain names to the top. That does not actually mean the actual value of that domain name. You'll find many times, probably every time, that the price does not, that valuation does not actually set the actual value of the domain name. It's like a made up number based on some data loosely to help say which domain names should be at the top of the list, which domain names are most important this week. That's how we use it. If you go and pay those amounts, you will be broke very quickly. That number is not for the sake of actual value. So right here on top, you'll see the first couple of them, they estimate at $20,000, already up over $3,000, $1,500. We'll see what they actually are and whether they're worth it. So, all right, now onto the domain names. So this is one of the challenging pieces of domaining. Tarot card, singular. I think cards would be the more popular one. I'm not even sure if that's the way we spell it, but this is a great opportunity for us to go through our process of researching a domain name. I am here to just pretty much say this. I don't want you to take my opinion as anything more than an opinion. I want you to instead see the process that we look to get data to pull in something to develop your own vibe, your own feel for a domain name. That's what we look at here on Domain to Profit. It's not just me, some random guy on the internet telling you which domain names are best or not. We look at data, and that's what we're going to be doing here with this domain name here. Tarotcard.com, we want to grab tarot card. So a lot of times I will copy and paste to avoid misspellings. If there's a funky character in there, by copying and pasting the domain name, it saves me from myself. So a good tactic is just to copy and paste. Then we're going to go over to this here. This is spyfu.com, spyfu or spyfu.com. And this is the keyword tool that we use to research domain names. We want to paste into the search bar. We want to drop the .com. It is not, we don't need that for the sake of researching the domain name. If you want to research the SEO or backlinks of a domain name, you would do that at a different time. We are looking at the domain name itself, the .com domain, the keywords that are part of that. And in this case, tarot card, and then we do a search. And there you go. Now you're seeing a little bit, these numbers pop out, and you're probably immediately able to see why the domain name's already going for thousands. Okay, so back over to expired domains, I'm sorry, over to the tarotcard.com. This auction ends in 3 days. $1,574 is currently what the bid is. Now the question is can we get to a place where, as a domain developer, as somebody that is interested in possibly this domain, can we come up with a price that's higher? How will we do that? Well, we will look at this data and then determine whether or not this is a good domain name for purchasing at a price at higher than $1,500 in developing. First of all, if you're going to be spending that money, hopefully you have an interest in tarot cards. If not, don't just buy it unless you buy it if you actually are interested in it. I don't know much about it, but I will say this. I did figure that tarot cards, like plural, would be better. And look at this right here. Boom, tarot cards, 115,000 searches for tarot cards with the plural. Now, the only thing is you cannot count on getting access to the plural if you're in the singular and vice versa. Actually, some disagree with that. The singular may give you access to target that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn on that. I would not place much value in the plural. If it's not exact, then be weary of counting on the traffic from a different one. So let me show you what I mean by that. I highlighted the words and hit Control F on my browser. And what that does is do something weird. So let me try that again. Highlighting the words, Control F, and it's still, let me type in. Long story short, we are doing a Control F, a browser search, and what this is doing is highlighting all the places that tarot card shows up in this middle section and elsewhere on the SpyFu page here. As you can see, it lights up. This is what you like to see when you do a Control F on the keyword. There's the plural right there on top. You can have access to that. Maybe, maybe not. I think you have a lot better chance of having access to this, tarot card meanings. Why? Because tarot card will be your domain name, and now you can have tarotcards.com/meanings. And then you can have the meanings of all the different cards, tarot card reading. Now you can have a directory of different people that will do tarot card readings and so on. A lot that you can do with that. Tarot card, that's the actual domain name. Now, this is what I love seeing this, except for it does have a plural, does have an S at the end, but tarot cards near me, tarot cards meaning, tarot cards list, and so forth. So what we're able to do is kind of get an idea of, hey, do we feel that given our skills, given our team or whatever it is, that we have access to any of this traffic here? And in theory, we will have access to this here. There's 12,700 monthly searches for the keyword of our domain name. Now, the most important thing, though, is coming down here. And this is the data provided by Google's search tools, the Google Webmaster Tools. And it is telling us that the cost per click is 49 cents and that there are two advertisers paying to target that keyword. And you'll see here, Google's saying that the search volume for this keyword is actually 301,000. 301,000. Yes, that's a pretty big number. Now, why is there such a big difference between 301,000 over on for that Google is saying versus the 12,700 that SpyFu? And that is because SpyFu has an algorithm to help us. They help you. They get rid of the pain of you making a financial decision thinking you're going to have access to 301,000 searches, and when in fact you're only going to have access to 12,000. What are they doing there? Well, behind the scenes, they're getting rid of a lot of the traffic that's going to go towards other keywords, or that they're going to send to advertisers, to maybe maps and so on. Make your financial decisions ideally off of the 12,000 number. Again, that's where we get into my opinion a little bit. According to this domain name's worth, if I was to base it off 301,000, gosh, I almost need a calculator here. 150, 20% of 150,000, whatever that is, $30,000 is what it's saying the domain name's worth. Like, it's not. This domain name is not worth that, in my opinion, but it is probably worth $6,000. And basically, I'm looking at the cost per click and then looking at the actual numbers of searches. So if it goes for around $600,000, then you might have an opportunity. Again, you need to have an interest in the topic. Otherwise, don't bother with it. Don't let somebody that's passionate about it get a hold of this domain name instead. So what are you going to put on the domain name? Let's say you don't listen to me there and you're like, I want it. Look at all that traffic. I can get it for $2,000, $3,000 maybe. I'm going to do it. Well, if you do it, what are you going to put on it? Well, this column here, this third column, is your answer. That is what you are going to put on your domain name. Answer the questions. How many cards are in a tarot deck? Boom. You have 3,600 searches. You could either answer that or put it out there to where others who are passionate about the topic answer the question on your website. That is the business model we go for. We're not the experts in the topics in the domain names we own. Instead, we create systems to allow those who are passionate about it to answer the questions and help others through the domain name. All of these questions here in this column, how many tarot cards are there? What are the tarot cards? How do you shuffle tarot cards? How do you allow the experts or those who are passionate about the topic to answer those, and you get the content for your website, and they get the exposure through a great domain name like tarotcard.com. I like it. So we'll see. So if I was to put a valuation on it, I am thinking it could be up to $12,000 or $6,000. To me, I wouldn't go above $3,000. I don't even know if I will go that high on this domain name. I like it. I just don't know if I like it that much, but maybe you do. Ultimately, that is the key. We look for opportunities that you may be interested in more than me, and that's what we like. I will go for it. I will go higher than 1,500. I just won't put the bid in right this second. Okay, let me see this. I'm looking through the chat. I see a bunch of stuff firing through, and I apologize if I'm going to miss anything here. Do you flip the development ones? I'm going to go back to the chat that I see here. DeFi instructor, do I flip developments? No. I've turned down millions actually for towing.com. Our business model is monthly reoccurring revenue. We set these domain names up to share with small businesses. Too much good happens from what we do, and we make money at the same time. So we're not really looking to sell anything, but you can. I mean, you take what we do, rock it, do exactly the same thing on great domain names, and then make your millions if that's what you're after. So you don't have to have the end game as me. Ideally, you do understand that, like, there's a lot of big money in things in what we're doing. Okay, yeah, I agree. That is, in fact, a pretty decent one right out of the gate. Tarotcard.com, we have not had a good one like that out of the gate for a couple of weeks ago. We had some good ones. So let's see. I'm sure it's going to be feast or famine now because I'm looking at these next ones. And this is really where we run into seeing the difference between an investable domain name, a developable domain name, and kind of domain names that just get their value from some black box algorithm. Somebody out there will probably pay some good money for these, but Uzi, no clue what it is. Don't care to look it up. Buy Best, no, probably not. I don't even like the sound of it. But now somebody out there is going to pay big money for these because they're on the top of the list. But realistically, I wouldn't even want to register buybest.com. Colos with a K, nope. Okay, going to start moving along down the list. I am skipping a lot of these because I don't like them, especially for the sake of development. They might be good domain names for your blog, for whatever else, but for the sake of developing and making money and bringing value to the world, most of these we're going to skip over a lot of them. DeFi instructors mentioning the healthy fit. It's not bad. Clean protein, I know that's a thing. So what you can do is follow along and do exactly what we did with Tarot Card. If you're interested in one of these, take it, look at that in SpyFu, get that information. And SpyFu does have a free version that you get to use for a few hundred searches to see some data. So I like getrelief.com. Let me click on that one. So I like GetRelief. Sometimes we find domain names that are very much in, I call them marketing domain names. Marketing domain names are domain names that you can just, as a marketer, which I am, they're just perfect for marketing campaigns. They're words or phrases that we see a lot in ads or advertisements or Super Bowl commercials. And can you get more of a marketing domain name than getrelief.com? If you've ever watched, Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy, all the commercials are about getting relief. Get relief for your arthritis. Get relief for achy joints. Get relief for your lower back. All that. Get Relief is the ideal domain name for anyone that is trying to sell pain relief, which one of the tactics in marketing is you don't want to sell a vitamin, you want to sell an aspirin. You want to sell pain relief, touch the pain point right away. So Get Relief from the perspective of marketing is a great marketing domain name that's going to go for more than $500. I can guarantee it because I'll probably take it up at least twice as much as that, adding it to my watch list. So let's see, though, if it's more than a marketing domain name. That's going to be the key. A lot of times with marketing domains, they don't necessarily get searched very often. Let's see if they are. Yeah, see, this one might hang out under the radar because the data doesn't back it up. But watch this. Get Relief, there's only 44 monthly searches for Get Relief. Makes sense. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do our Control F trick. We're going to highlight it, Control F, and now it's highlighting the places that Get Relief is used. I'm actually pretty surprised that there's not more here. So maybe I'm changing my mind on this domain name as we go. That is why we look at the data and not just go with Drew's gut. So this isn't about necessarily your opinion or even Drew's opinion. This is about the data. What does the data tell you? And yes, at the end of it all, go with your gut. Go with what your bank account allows you to do. Make good decisions. But ideally, make sure you're checking the data also. So I see some highlighted stuff. They're actually about the same on both sides, both the content column that we have in the third column. These are questions that people are asking on the search engines. They also show up here in that middle section for keywords. How to get relief from stomachache. How to get relief from student loan debt. How to get relief from plantar fasciitis. I think that's the right way to say. So once again, these are people looking for aspirin. These are people looking for instant into their pain. So, whether it's student debt or stomach aches. Now, so those are going to be people that are very eager to act. Money on the standby, ready for that relief. If you can build something that helps get them relief, whether it's financial struggles or medical stuff, maybe you just have... you sell aspirin, for goodness sakes. Who knows what it is? You can do it to this domain name. But here's one of the things that you're up against. And this is why it's going to be a gut call. The cost per click, nobody's paying to advertise for the keyword Get Relief. There's 2 advertisers there, so I guess 2 people are paying something, but we don't know what it is. There's not really a lot of volume happening, and that means that you just pretty much put a red X right through this and ignore it. If you're going to pay money for this domain name, you're going to be paying money 100% off your gut. The data's not there. The data says maybe $600 on this domain name, and that's based on, let me show you where I'm getting that from. That's based on possibly getting access to some of these middle keywords, these long tail keywords, which you can certainly target pretty well with this domain name. So this domain name in 6 days, add it to my watch list. I will likely still bid on it. This is off of a Drew gut check versus anything else. I'll probably take it up to maybe a little past $1,000 or not. Just so you know, sometimes I just get to the time that it's time to hit that money and I bail. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely have added it to my list. Oh, yeah. DeFi instructor mentioning Get Relief is great for CBD as well. Yeah, CBD, cannabis. I own some cannabis domains. It's one of the areas I look at as well. And it's easy to remember. Yes, that's the exact point that I like. That's a marketing domain name. Everyone says it in their campaign. Like it's something, you want a domain name that people hear and they go, that means something. That's a good domain name. Oh, you must be in this industry. You must know something about this. All the meantime, you're sitting there going, I'm just a nerd that owns some domain names. Like, anyhow. That's true. I am a nerd that owns some domain names. Okay. Moving on. I saw Peter Askew, my domain development bud, Miss Molly. He said, good golly, missmolly.com could just be a fun domain name to look at. Not sure if it'd probably be more for vanity and fun than anything else. What is in the red cup and blue cup? Oh, these are just, I got water and coffee. Water and coffee. You talk as much as this and you'll need water and coffee. I like a lot of these. These are fun domain names. If you can get some of these for buyouts, especially water buyouts, I will just say buyouts are, if nobody bids on an auction, it goes to a closeout deal and you can buy it for $50. So some of these are good for closeouts. Ooh, look at this, usabilitytesting.com. Usabilitytesting.com. I think that is definitely going to be a thing. It's long, a little hard to spell. $610 currently, ends tomorrow. So this is one of those ones, if you're watching this show on Wednesday, you've done missed out. Fool, come on now, get your stuff together. So let's check out usability testing. It's probably not even going to matter. Let's find out. Usability testing, to me, it is website usability, app usability, making sure the way you have things set up work the way you expect. And look at this. This is pretty big. So 8,500 searches for the exact words of this domain name, usabilitytesting.com, 8,500. So right off the bat, if you know nothing else, you know there's people searching for this domain name. Do you instantly get 8,500 searches for your domain name? Absolutely not. That's not how this works. But it means that 8,500 people are going in there and typing in the words of your domain name. Like, hopefully you see the power of it. Why are they typing it in? They're looking for content. They're looking for tools. They're looking for things to do with usability testing. And if you own that domain name, you have the access to the industry. You are already an authority in that industry, even if you know nothing about the topic. That's it's both scary, but amazing. Like, if you're looking for opportunity, this is why domain names are such a huge opportunity. You have access to industries that you probably shouldn't even have access to. I own towing.com. I launched that site and had very little knowledge about what towing, even like how they made money or anything like that. But I launched it, use it to make big business, and it's all 100% because of a domain name. So here you go. Here's the payment information. Look at this. This is huge. Over $8 per click. I love seeing that. I want to see that number $2 or more. In this case, it's $8. The thing that I counted against it is the number of advertisers are 2. I like to see it at 10 or more. And of course, you can say, well, of course, higher numbers always are better. The reason I like to see advertiser numbers higher is there's more competition. That means there's more people out there with ways to monetize the keyword. And that competition, the number of advertisers, means that a few of them, will look for a new opportunity. So if you call them up and say, hey, I'm Drew with usabilitytesting.com, and I would love to feature your product as a member or something on my website. Would you pay me this or whatever it is? They're going to hear the domain name and they're going to be like, oh yeah, we're tired of competing at $8 per click over on Google. We'll give you a chance. Let's see what happens. Boom, partnership, opportunity in the form of your domain name giving you access. So when we see 2 advertisers, they might just be settled into a groove and not open to new opportunities. But 8,500, I love seeing that. I'm going to take that down to 20% of it. I would say this domain name for a domain developer, generic domain development, not interested in the industry, you're going to want to cap off at 20% of 8,500 is what I don't have a calculator. I'm not able to do that in my head real quick. But if you love this industry, if you're already working in usability testing, this is the kind of domain name you would go all in on. Okay, this is when you would pull out the 5-figure amounts. Is if you can get the exact match to an industry you're already passionate about, go all in. So let's see here. Stuart adding in, if I can stop right-clicking on everything instead of, okay, usability testing is a non-geo-specific, so it might be harder to find companies willing to list with you. It's not like there's a usability testing firm in every city. That is true. I think with this, one of the things I like to see in this middle section, and I talk about this as we see it, I like to see near me. So if you see near me, that means there's localization of the keyword. We do not see it here. So this is a nationwide, worldwide type keyword, which is going to make it a little bit more difficult. One of the things I would say, though, is you're looking for national players. This is a national type domain name, worldwide domain name versus So you can, you would go a little more along the lines of a maybe finding 4 advertisers or 4 featured products along the lines of specific industries, or you go the route of create your own SaaS, your software as a service, create a tool that helps people usability test their website, whatever that looks like, and then you put it up on usabilitytest.com and you go all in on your own product or service. That's why this kind of domain name I avoid unless I'm in that industry, but I can go for it. I'll put a little bit of money in it, not entirely sure what, but to give a summary, 1 day left, ends tomorrow, $610 currently. Yeah, those are some good domain names. I like it. Like them. Research partners, I don't mind that one. I won't go deep diving into it, but you may want to. If that anything with the research, I could see that one being a pretty good one. Blockchain certified, not really a thing, but you can make it a thing. I know the guy that owns localfood.com, which I would much rather have than Food Local. Food Local, that's an almost domain name. If it doesn't roll off the tongue, if it doesn't make sense, and you're like, it's almost good, run from that domain name. That is going to trap somebody into paying a few $100s for a domain name that's just never going to be as good as the local food domain name. You can use it as a beachhead domain name. We haven't talked about that in a while, but if that's the best you can do is buy a domain name that's almost good enough, you can use it, what do they say? Sharpen your teeth on it, learn the skills necessary, and then you can try to upgrade into better domain names. There's better opportunities out there, but if that's your industry, then go for it. Public pages. Not sure what that is, but it could be a thing for sure. And you'll see that a lot of times things are very much like a lot of these domain names we pass over. You can do whatever you want to with them. Some cases, they fall into brandable domain names. And brandable domain names, I avoid for the most part. They're just, until you define what is on it, it could be anything. And that's not really the kind of domain name. I want that color by number. I want the canvas to be up. I want the domain name to tell me what should be on it. And I just have to do the work of coloring it in. Outside of that, you're kind of, I view most brandables, I think of them as hope vampires. Like somewhere out there, somebody's going to have an idea. They're going to be like, oh, that'd be great. I'm going to do that. And they go for that domain name and it's already taken. And they're just a weird, I love creators and I want to support creators. And I think a lot of times brandables, they're trying to profit off of somebody wanting to do so. It's all good. Do your thing. Just ideally have a price that's tolerable. Campaignbuilder.com. So, Ave Maria. Not going to sing it. Okay. First-time visitor, thanks for joining us here. Asking, are these domains that were registered at GoDaddy and if not picked up at auction will end up on a deleted? So these are domain names. These are domain names that have that somebody registered and they have expired. So that's the only, currently we can look through other lists, but the domain names we're looking through, the less than 100,000 here, are expired domain names. So they registered and they're expiring. And as part of the deletion process, they first, before they ever go back out to the registers to be available for you to register, they go through an auction process and then a closeout process. And just know the best domain names never are up again for hand registration. The only way to get a great domain name is from this secondary market that chances are you didn't know about until today. So yeah, these are hand registration domain names. These are expired domains that somebody already owned and are letting go. So very important that you know this is your opportunity at these domain names. If you wait, you will not have an opportunity unless you're buying them from the person that bought them at auction. That's why what we do here each week, Monday at 3 p.m. on Domain to Profit, is so vital. We are looking at opportunities that are going to be gone next week. So make sure to join us each week, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is a good opportunity to say, make sure you like the video and subscribe as well. I very much appreciate it. Free show. We don't even have sponsors as of this point. So I work for likes and subscribes. So there you go. Campaignbuilder.com ends just before next week's show. So 7 days from now. And I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to see some pretty good numbers for this. We've seen similar domain names, possibly even this domain name. Who knows? We've been at this for 2 years. 660 searches. Let me do a Control F to highlight where our keyword shows up. Okay, there are some other ones in here. D&D Campaign Builder. So any role-playing people out there, I used to play D&D. Everybody always wants me still too, but I just don't have time for it. Google Campaign Builder. So there's a few hundred searches, 660 for the exact keyword. I was thinking of this URL building up there that's for 2,600. You can kind of target that keyword, but ultimately you can't count on it. 99 cents per click. 2 advertisers are currently paying to advertise for this one. So there's a little bit of money there. It's a good keyword. And if you work in marketing or internet marketing campaigns, you've talked about a campaign builder. And there are lots of tools out there that call themselves a Facebook campaign builder or a YouTube campaign builder. So whether you're building one of those tools or just promoting somebody else's tools, it's a good domain name to do that. 660 searches for it. A little bit of traffic available. Who knows? Take it the role-playing direction and go with these D&D keywords out here. That's also an option. I do like the domain name. Ends in 7 days, $99 currently. So that is going to be a domain name that you're going to want to wait until the last minute. Don't bid yet on all of these, if you can wait until the last 5 minutes to bid, then wait. You do not want to show your hand. You do not want to call the attention of people like me. And when you bid on domain names early, what you are doing is calling out the sharks, okay? I'm just letting you know, if you want attention on your domain name, you bid early. There's numerous people that come out to expireddomains.net and look for the domains with bids, and we monitor that stuff. So if you just prefer to keep it a secret, do not bid until 5 minutes left, just so you know. People are still going to notice, but don't call in the people with the big pockets. Just so you know, just giving you that tip. I give it pretty frequently. Let me see here. Yes, I do. Stuart's mentioning, I do have a filter up. I don't know how I pinned that. I'll have to figure out how to. Okay, let me. But basically, yes, I do have a filter. I have a video on my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/DrewWash, wash like wash your hands, all one word, that shows the filter that we use. Then if you also go back at the beginning of this video, I go through the filters again from scratch, showing you how to get the best domain names and get rid of a lot of the garbage. Because yes, if you try to look through domain names without filters, you are looking through a lot of garbage. We got rid of 200,000 domains with our filters, and we're still having to skip over 90% of them. Well, or yeah, 90% of them. Okay, let me breathe. You guys ever like? It's a lot of oxygen. So we had getrelief.com. We saw that one upstairs or up on top. Buyrelief.com, a good complimentary domain name. Not going to deep dive into it, but as you can see, not bad. Buyrelief.com, 6 days left on it. So look, this one's $12 currently. That's because no one's bid on it yet. Do not be the first bid. Wait, add it to your watch list. Boom, just like that. Just add it to your watch list. Come back to it towards the end of the auction and bid on it as of that point. Just a tip to keep people from they're going to know about it. A lot of us already checked them, but you don't want to draw attention if you can avoid it. All the time. Like I see it all the time. And you don't want to you want to bid at 5 minutes, not 10 seconds left. Again, same thing. All you're doing is extending that auction if you wait too long. And the result is you bring more people into to dive into your domain name. I like coffeekit.com, but I do see that it is an enom domain name up there, coffeekit.com, which means I'm not going to click on it. Chances are it will not go through. Well, let's see. Enom, coffeekit. Yeah, 6 days left on that one. So definitely, I only click on them if they're within 2 days. Watch every other show to find out why. Basically, it's going to get pulled. It will not actually go through the expiration process. Tree teas. It's weird. Charity impact, web motions. Okay, I guess I can start going page down again. Collection boxes. Some of these are really interesting domain names. They are domain names that almost are good enough. And that's one of the things we want to do is avoid the almost good enough domain names. That's the tough part. Generate energy, like that one up here, generate energy. Go into the keyword tool, check it out. I could see that being a thing. I just don't, it's just close. Generate into this, like energy generator, energy generation. There's other versions of those words that I would prefer to have. Therefore, it's going to be a skip for me. But you can always go check it out. Like, don't take my word for it. So this list that we're looking through, this is ordered by the number of other GoDaddy evaluation. Of course, that's just how we're ordering them by. It does not mean that one is more, was better than the other. I do see something here. How about this one at the top? Specialtygraphics.com. And I'm looking through. Hopefully, I've caught most of the chat points. Hopefully, I have caught all the ones that I could really add value to. Matt, if you would echo anybody that is echo any comments that I need to make sure I see. I've tried to stay on top of it, but thank you all for chatting. I love it, by the way. Like I do this to interact with you live. It's really it's a little boring sitting. I'm literally in a 10 by 10 office by myself doing this show. So you are with me when I'm here. I'm here for you and to talk to you and working through these things. So Specialty Graphics, 1,300 searches. I like seeing that. Let's do our Control F trick to see how the keyword shows up. Boom, that's what we like to see. It's glowing now. It's boom, yellow, Specialty Graphics Supply, another 870, ABS Specialty Graphics, 180. Let's see here. I do not see localization in the middle here. That's kind of interesting. I thought there'd be some Specialty Graphics near me type of keywords. There's not, though. Let's see what we have as far as money goes. Not really much happening. $1 per click, one advertiser paying. I'm guessing you could target some of this, like these, printing or printing near me. That's kind of what I would like to go for. I want the localization on this. Not sure if you can pull it off, though, but 1,300 searches for your exact domain name. There's a little bit happening here with this one, certainly worth a few $100s, especially if you're in the graphics department. So specialtygraphics.com is going to be added to the watch list. $49 currently, ends in 4 days. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Clicking the right tabs now. Banking support. That could be something, banking support. Oh yeah, Spy. They do have some free stuff. You just don't get as much data. I see the conversation about SpyFu. So just so you know, SpyFu is there's a paid thing. We used to do the show off of the free version, but then they capped us and said, "Hey, you're using it too much," and we just paid because I was always fine paying for it. It's a helpful tool. The keyword data that we use. For those that are curious, SpyFu, you'll get similar data from SEMrush, Ahrefs, and other keyword tools out there. Or you could even use Google's webmaster tools to get some of the keyword data and so on. I like SpyFu, though. It keeps it nice and simple. So when you're looking through hundreds or thousands of domain names, you can kind of quickly get an idea of what's going on here. NFT Wizard, maybe. Combiners. I don't know if that's a real thing, but could be a brandable. On to page 2. Oh, my goodness gracious. Wow, 53 minutes on page 1. Wow, 53 minutes. And it flew by. That was awesome. That was great. It's so much better than last week when I was floundering. Not only because I tried to bite off more than what I could chew on topic, but the domains weren't supporting me. So this is exciting. Okay, let's give it, we're going to give it one page down or so, and then we are going to summarize and end things out. Make sense? Here we go. Let's see what we got. Machinery suppliers. That's an enum domain ending in 5 days, so we're going to skip it over. Not really loving it anyways. I feel like we need music. Better Medicines. It's another enum. Okay. Dramatic music. We're seeing if we're going to actually come up with something great at the end. Wah, wah. Okay. There we go. Somebody's mentioning combiner machines, maybe. I'm I'm not a farmer. Not sure. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and summarize. We're going to run through all the domain names we talked about today, so that way you can see what we pulled together, starting from the most recent one. And that is specialtygraphics.com, currently $49, ends in 4 days. We saw that one. Minor keyword volume, but there's something there, especially if you're in graphics or printing. Specialtygraphics.com could be a good one for you. Buyrelief.com. I assure you someone out there wants to buy relief. Anytime you've had a headache, a migraine, an achy back, or any of the other things we saw in the keyword data, Buyrelief is a great marketing domain name. So you got to kind of work the domain name. It's not the typical color by number domain name that we talk about. This is more of a capitalizing on the fact that lots of advertisers out there are trying to sell relief. So others out there are trying to buy relief. $12 currently. Let's refresh it to make sure nobody's made the mistake of bidding. Good job, everybody. Do not bid on this one to the last minute since there's nobody bidding currently. $6, 6 days left on it. $12. I do expect that one to go for several $100s at least. Campaignbuilder.com ends in 7 days, so it will end before next week's show. $99 currently. And Campaign Builder, if you're in marketing, doing internet marketing, building internet marketing campaigns and so on, I can see this being a tool that you build out or a directory or marketing option to market others who build campaigns. So campaignbuilder.com, $99 ending tomorrow, or I'm sorry, ending in next week. Usabilitytesting.com, $610 currently, ends tomorrow. I love this. This is probably my favorite domain name of the week. Maybe, maybe not. In fact, I just realized I was talking about Buyrelief. Okay, let me get my thoughts together. Usabilitytesting.com, the nerd in me that has 100% Googled usabilitytesting.com before testing before. I love this domain name. Not going to be for everybody. You can put up a directory of services, products. Going to make sure it's added to my watch list. Ends tomorrow, $610 currently. And I just realized I was giving you all that information about GetRelief.com. Buyrelief, it's not as good. GetRelief, I really like. But those two together are going to be a home run. So if you can have both these domain names, guessing the person that is losing one is losing both of them, they're going to need to buy some relief for the headache they're going to have when they realize they let them go. This one ends in 6 days, $530 currently. Those two domains together, you're going to be paying some money for. And what I'm sure is the highlight domain name for anyone out there that's into this kind of thing, tarotcard.com, $1,500 currently, ends in 3 days. There you go. Like, you can't go wrong with a domain name that is searched, 16,000 times or something. Lots going on with this one, and there's a reason it's going for so much. It's because there's a lot of search volume and people out there wanting to be part of it. So there you go, tarotcard.com, ending in 3 days. There we go. Boom. That's a summary, and that is ready to wrap us up here for Domain to Profit. That's lots of talking, people. I don't get it. I don't know. I need like oxygen. Watched the Cincinnati Bengals game last night, and that guy Hubbard ran back a long fumble recovery all the way into the end zone. They had oxygen on it. I need oxygen. Need some oxygen after this show. Well, I am Drew Walsh. This is Domain to Profit. I am so very thankful and happy that you joined me live here. All of you out there in the chat, you have made my day 100%. I hope you find something that you love in these different domain names we've talked about, all these opportunities. I hope you can seize one. And if you do, make sure you tag me over on Twitter. Let me know that you are developing something out. This is my thing. This is my heart is for you and me developing domain names, turning them into valuable stuff for others, as well as generating the lifestyle and life we want for ourselves. All of it can happen with domain names. So thank you so much. I am one last look to the chat. Jeffrey, you are very welcome. Application Innovations, you as well. Matt, you, everybody, thank you so much for coming. I will be back next week, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, to do the exact same thing, and we will see what the domain expiration gods give us in the form of great domains next week. Hopefully it's just as good. Until then, see you on Twitter. I'm Drew Walsh, Domain to Profit. See you next week.
From the